and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. First thing I want to say is I apologize for being so long between episodes, but there's been a bunch of issues. And so, proceeding onward, here we are at Duna. Now, in the comments of episode 12, Myarchus1 pointed out that the previous video, episode 11, left with our astronaut having arrived in a somewhat elliptical Duna orbit, and that was it. However, what had actually happened after arriving at Duna orbit, and I distinctly remember recording this and editing it, and I have no idea why it didn't make it into an episode, but apparently it didn't, was the fact that our astronaut, Bill Kerman, landed on Duna. Well, sort of, kinda. He crash landed. This is because the single parachute on his capsule was not sufficient for braking, and he ran out of fuel just before touching down. And as you can see, there are some fragments of what's left of his lander still in place. His lander still has some RCS fuel, which was how we managed to get the thing upright. A little bit of RCS and SAS and so on and so forth. And as you can see, let's just go ahead and EVA here, turn those lights on. And we'll head over here. And there was a plaque that he did plant a flag, and there's a plaque. If I don't make it, this was all Jeb's fault. Why this stuff never made it into a video, I have no idea. I distinctly remember recording it and editing it and so on. Alright, we'll just have Bill here go back aboard his capsule. And so, in episode 12, I had built a replacement lander and launched it on the way to Duna. However, the save that I'm working from is a backup I made prior to recording episode 12, because the world file after that is gone, corrupted, whatever, unusable. And so I restored from the backup that was made shortly after Bill Kerman landed on Duna, survived a crash, and planted a flag, and left a plaque where he blamed Jebediah for all of his problems. And so, now, I'm going to cut to the vehicle assembly building for some work on the solution. And so, what happened in the original episode 12 is that I built a lander, this ship right here, and this rather large launch vehicle to get it up into space, specifically for the purpose of sending it to Duna for the rescue of Bill. And I could just go ahead and launch this thing now and just basically redo what I did in episode 12, but I'm thinking to modify this a little bit and sort of improve on what I did then, since I effectively have to refly that part of history. And so, and by the way, I want to say right now that I'm planning for this to be a longish recording session, so I'm going to be breaking this into 20 to 30 minute chunks after I'm done recording. So if things just kind of suddenly fade out and come to an end, look forward to the next episode, which has already been recorded. Alright, remote guidance unit, that's the thing I'm looking for. Let's move that docking port up, pop this on here. Now the ship can be flown with nobody aboard, and it will be launched empty. Now, there is another issue. I'm kind of concerned about these boosters and their ability to fall away and not cause problems. Let's see. Yeah, that's the one I want. So, hop over here to propulsion and grab some separatrons. And let's turn symmetry on. Getting a little bit closer. And put a pair of them on both sides of each tank. And where did these things go? Yeah. Alright, let's make sure we have our staging right the whole way around. Alright. Copy that. Flip it around. Put it there. Copy that one. No, I didn't say pick it up. I said copy it. Okay, that's Alt-click. And get right over here. Like thus. Alright. And now do the same thing for these other two asparagus stages. Okay. All right. That's good. And then finally over here. Just to ensure that these things actually fall away from the ship. Alright. Go ahead and save that. I believe our staging is good. We've got a Clampetron Senior docking port on the front end, because of course this little lander isn't going to have enough juice to get all the way to Duna, and it's going to need a refueling once it gets off of Duna so that it can come back to Kerbin. So there will be another launch that will be a fuel tanker, basically. Alright, now let's confirm. Action groups are good. Okay, solar panels on 1, ladders on 2, landing parachutes on 3, nav lights on 4, or 5, excuse me, and gimbal control on 10. Alright, that's good. Save that. No, I didn't want that. I wanted this. And we'll take our crew off of there, because this thing is launching unmanned. One more touch, Engineer has been quite helpful for rebuild, but for this flight, yes, I'm going to put a mech jeb on it. Just one. And the mech jeb will be used specifically for attitude control, the smart SAS, and informational stuff. So given that, I can take the engineer off. Okay, now let us launch. Alright, here we are. No unauthorized passengers, so everything looks good. Let's get our flight stats up. Put this in surface mode and get it ready to exercise attitude control. I think I may need it because I'm only getting about 4 frames a second right now, and that makes it very difficult to control a launch. So, SAS on, lights on just for giggles, throttle it up, and let's go. And I will probably fast forward most of this because it's going to be interminable at low frame rates, as you can see by its startlingly slow takeoff. And yeah, right, executing Smart ASS attitude hold and fast forwarding the launch. Alright, I'm almost in orbit. 100-kilometer apoapsis, 2 minutes and 35 seconds to get there. Let's get our circularization burn planned out. .97 by 113. Let's step that down a little bit. 96 by 108. Not great, but we can circularize later in more precision. Right now it's just let's get in orbit. Assume the maneuver node. Deploy solar panels. 39-second burn. We'll burn at T-minus 19. And we're burning. Looking good. Apoapsis is staying right about 100 kilometers. May go up above that a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much. Backing off. Camera angle changes. I switch it back to free and cut the engines. Okay, push the apoapsis up a little too high. But we can deal with that. First, we get rid of this. Alright, thing to do here is to pop a maneuver here at periapsis to bring the apoapsis down. So we want negative prograde. By 99. That looks really good. Okay, close that. Assume our maneuver node. And as soon as we're in position, we time warp 30 minutes and do the burn. And this thing will be in a very nicely, almost totally circular orbit. And then we'll park it facing north at orbit normal and send up the fuel ship that will be providing the bulk of the fuel for the trip to Duna. Time warping around. Kill the time warp and let it get realigned on the maneuver node, and then time warp the rest of the way down. A 1 second burn, so this should be almost nothing. 27 meters a second. Burning in 7 seconds. Off. SAS on just to hold it from bouncing around. Alright. Good orbit. And now to the vehicle assembly building. Oh, wait a minute. Orbit normal. I almost forgot to park this thing in a proper, let's get ready for maneuvering kind of thing. And go ahead and turn the lights off for now. Save battery. Alright, SAS on, Smart ASS off. Alright, and now we cut to the vehicle assembly building. Here we are. We're about 53 meters out and closing. Looks like we're pretty much lined up. It's just a matter of, well, our the axis of our ship is aligned with the axis of the target ship. And it's just a matter of getting lined up on the green lines, which is the front and back indicator, front, back, side to side, or up, down, side to side, whatever. And then closing in to actually connect docking ports together. Okay, let's turn the lights on. Without turning off the nav lights. Our green lines are coming closer to center. At least the left-right one is. Start slowing down a little bit here. Slowed down too much, we're moving away. Easily fixed. Especially if we can do it without changing our alignment. Get the yellow marker closer to the center. Alright, now we're closing in for docking. .3 meters per second should be plenty fast enough. Looks like everything's lined up right here. Looking good. We have a good docking on hand. Slow down a little bit. And here we go. Okay, ready to turn SAS off. SAS off. We have docking. Or rather, it's Okay, looks like we have a bit of flexing and dock wobble going on here. Okay. Let's try a little bit of kill rotation. And authorize a little bit of thruster usage to do that. Hopefully it'll happen without breaking this mess apart. And maybe it won't. Alright, we'll use the time warp trick. Split second of time warp to kill all angular velocity. Alright. So that tank is full. This one is half full. Ended up having to get into that tank a little bit, but that won't be a problem. Alright, now first thing, I'm going to take from this tank, I'm going to refuel everything up here. And then once all that's refueled, this stage will provide the transduna injection burn, after which it will be decoupled and left. And then the XD drive Mark 6 will handle the rest of the trip. Did notice that I don't see the quantum struts activated, but then again with the placement they may not show up very easily. Fill the main tank as well. And then we can get this show on the road. Get this lander out here to get Bill off the surface of Duna and hopefully return him safely to Kerbin. Top this one off. Okay. Now, let's get something planned for Duna. Duna is still fairly out of position. In position would be to have Duna no more than 45 degrees ahead of Kerbin, and you can tell it's going to be some time before it reaches that point, but it's getting closer. Alright, Departure burn will be about there. And let's start doing some of this. Good, no transient moon or Minmus encounters. Oh, it helps to set Duna as target. Okay. A little bit of futzing around here to get something approaching a encounter when we're this far out of position. Okay, how about we just cancel that. Get an apoapsis out by Duna's orbit. And then go ahead and burn this. And then once out there, then set up another maneuver to go for the rendezvous. And I think that will end up costing us a lot less Delta V than trying to do it all in one maneuver. Okay, back to staging mode. Okay, those engines are disabled. We have control from here. And yes, the quantum struts are working. Alright. Okay. Smart ASS and flight stats. And see if we can get it to assume the maneuver node without tearing the ship apart. It's going, but slowly, so I'm going to cut away until we are ready to burn.